OBS. And that should kick over to YouTube in 2 seconds.
It's 7 o'clock.
All right.
Let me start recording here.
The December 16, 2020 Town Board meeting is called to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible.
To the republic for which it stands,
Justice for all.
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Little flag here I'm trying to get. Supervisor Conway?
Present.
Counselor Tierney?
present.
Counselor Kennedy?
Present.
Counselor Matters?
Present.
Counselor Fritz? Counselor Fritz?
Bridget, can you hear us?
She looks frozen.
I think she froze.
Yeah.
We can go back to get her yes once we get her unfrozen.
Oh.
So welcome everyone. Supervisor Conway is recovering from his illness, so I will take the lead on the meeting tonight, and anytime he wants to reassume that lead, he can certainly jump in and do so. Welcome to all of our town board members, our town clerk Ellen Pangburn, our director of finance Megan Hart, and of course our commissioner of public works Dan Fiacco. So before we get into councilors' comments, we'd like to start with the Commissioner of Public Works about the snow emergency tonight.
Hello, everyone. I just wanted to make sure everyone knows that there's a snow emergency issued from 4 p.m. today till tomorrow night at 7 p.m. We emphasize that all vehicles be off the road along with garbage cans and basketball hoops. We're expecting 10 to 15 inches of snow to come. And I would also like to say that when anyone goes outside to shovel, make sure someone knows you're out there in case you have an accident and fall. And we don't want anyone to be out in the snow frozen. So.
Very helpful reminder. Thank you very much, and thank you in advance for the long night that you and your team are going to have tonight. And please wish everyone a safe overnight, because it's going to be an overnight storm. So thank you. So with that, we will begin with comments. Supervisor Conway, you of course can have the floor first.
I thought I'd go last. No, very, very briefly, for people who don't know, we've had a tremendous outbreak of COVID at Town Hall. There are 12 positive tests of employees. There's 9 positive tests of relatives of employees. So we're doing the best we can with that. I want to thank Tina for taking over here. Seems like we do that a lot this year. But Tina, I really appreciate it. And thanks to Megan for always being in the game and setting this up. And then one just small thing that's personal. Tomorrow is 3 years since Adam Yagelski started with the town of East Greenbush. Now, this was one of the best hires, not only this town, this is one of the best hires any town has ever made. Adam has been a revelation. If he wasn't here, we would need, this is no exaggeration, at least 3, maybe 4 people to do what he does. It's a time in the town's history with Regeneron and all kinds of business, and us wanting to do important things like update the plan. I just want to thank Adam for the 3 years. He's remarkable. That's it, Tina. Thanks.
Great. So next, Council Matters.
Yes, thank you, Deputy Supervisor Tierney. I first, of course, like to echo the supervisor's comments. Thank you so much for stepping up once again in support of the supervisor and his unfortunate condition, along with, the unfortunate health situation with so many other town employees. This is such a challenge. We've talked about it for 9 months, and it's become so much more real now in the last couple of weeks. And I think we're all really, you know, if it was something that was more distanced from the lives of everyone, it's now, you know, really, you know, it's right in our faces. So I know we're going to get through it, and you know, with the recent release of vaccines, well, one anyway, and I know with Pfizer and Moderna is on the way. So, you know, I think hopefully the reticence that everyone feels, and you know, certainly everyone in our town will, you know, subside, and people will realize that, you know, help is on the way, and hopefully we'll be ready to turn a corner. Certainly, you know, this kind of marks the kickoff of the snow season, I suppose. So Commissioner Fiacco is at the ready and doing what he does. One of the things that he, you know, one of many things that he does best, of course, in dealing with snow removal. And I know everyone in Town Hall generally has been stepping up during this time. And thanks to certainly Megan, as well as the supervisor indicated, Adam is seemingly always there behind the scenes anyway, doing what he does best, plus so much more. So that's all I have to offer. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Councillor Kennedy?
Thank you, Deputy Supervisor Tierney. On lighter notes, which I would like to go there, we do have a couple of community events that are being conducted right now by our community services staff. We have our holiday house lighting contest, and the judging will be taking place. We have about 30 homes who have registered. We'll be judging over the weekend, announcing the winner of that. We also have letters to Santa. We have our mailbox out in front of Town Hall, and there's been quite a few letters written to Santa, and expect the people, the children that have written letters, will be getting a letter back, and those letters will be going up to the North Pole. So that continues for another couple of days. Our police department is also joining with community services staff on Friday to deliver meals to our senior citizens residing in East Greenbush who have expressed a need or who have been participating in any of our programs over the years. Those meals have been donated by a restaurant in Albany, Stella Del Mar. So thank you, Elaine, for your officers delivering those meals on Friday. And yeah, as far as from our library, the library is starting a short story contest, a work of fiction. Anyone who lives in East Greenbush, they're going to be announcing it in early January, but the story has to take place in Rensselaer County during the pandemic, and it's 1,500 to 2,000 words. It is a contest, so whoever wants to write a short story about their time during the pandemic, information will be out in January in the newsletter that the library is mailing out. And last but not least, I would just like to recognize 3 of our DPW staff from Parks and Recreation, Dave Williams and Jimmy Hempstead and Mason Albert. Just want to thank these 3 people. They've really been keeping our trails and parks mowed and maintained all fall. They've been really working their tails off. They've cleaned and maintained our park buildings and the playground, and most recently they completed the clearing of the parcel at Town Park for our new heated restrooms that are being constructed. They did a significant amount of the site work over there in preparation for the construction, including some, excavation and grading. So I really want to thank those 3 gentlemen for their work over the past few months. What else? Again, thank you, Tina, and everyone else who is feeling a little under the weather. I hope speedy recoveries to all, and happy holidays.
Great, thank you. Councillor Fritz?
Okay, I would also like to, I have gotten a phone call today from Twin Bridges, so anyone who has Twin Bridges rubbish removal or trash removal, they're not picking up tomorrow. So Danny, that's fewer cans for you to go out. They're going to pick up on Friday instead. So that's good. And I do agree with Councilor Kennedy. I was actually just at the park this weekend, and the trails are in fabulous shape. It is great over there. Get out and enjoy it. And I would also just like to say happy holidays and be safe with the snow coming.
Okay, so I'll be brief. Certainly our thoughts are with all of our colleagues who are not well and their family members, and we wish them a speedy and full recovery. Very difficult situation. The numbers in Rensselaer County and within East Greenbush are astounding and jaw-dropping for COVID. So please, we encourage everyone to continue to remain vigilant and take precautions, because we've seen firsthand how insidious this and contagious this virus really is. So that is the first message we'd like to give. Thank you to Megan Hart for working very quickly to put together the resolutions from the department heads and post that on the website as soon as the agenda was finalized. So thank you for that. And we appreciate the public's patience with a little bit of a delay on the agenda, but we feel that we got that as soon as it was humanly possible to get it on the website. So thank you. Thank you in advance to the police department for driving during the snow and keeping our community safe. They can't stay home and they can't work from home. So please, Chief Radzinski and our assistant chief is on tonight too. Please encourage your officers to use the utmost safety. And again, our thanks to the Commissioner of Public Works and his team. So that, Supervisor Conway, anything else that you wanted to add now?
No, I'm good, thanks.
Okay, great. So we will move now into the open public privilege portion of our meeting. I know we are joined by some of our participation in government students. Welcome. You are always welcome to comment, but you certainly do not have to. But if you do, each speaker may choose to state their name and their address prior to addressing the board. You are granted the floor for up to 5 minutes, and we thank everyone in attendance for your understanding and their desire to actively participate in the decision-making process. All speakers must conduct themselves in a civil manner, and personal attacks will not be tolerated. So with that being said, is there anyone from the public who would like to make a comment? If you would, if your camera's on, just give us a wave or use the hand raise function.
I guess I'll go first. Can you hear me?
We can, yes. Welcome.
Good to see some students are online here. It's a good way to participate in government, and hope they'll learn a lot of good lessons. I see Jack is back, and he should probably be in bed right now. He looks like a lumberjack.
I feel
better.
Thanks.
Glad to see that the Canine Police initiative is going forward. It's a very welcome service in this community. As a resident, I'm glad they're putting this back into service again.
Yeah.
The other thing I have is the comprehensive steering plan. I have not seen anything online where there's been remarks from the public as far as any input to the finalization of that plan. So if there's anything that's out there that can be made public, that would be great. Made public on the website. The other thing, last but not least, is the issue with the rezoning. I know I made comments the last special meeting, and I kind of stand by those comments that I don't think that there should be a exception made for a particular zoning ordinance. I think this is what got East Greenbush in trouble to begin with over the years, that there were a lot of these little exceptions here and there, and that's what kind of made certain areas of East Greenbush, particularly the residents, subject to not very good living environments. So, again, like I said, the last meeting, the residents that are immediately affected by this, they should have the strongest voice in this change, if they want it or not. But as a resident of East Greenbush, I would strongly suggest that you either make it that whole area a residential area and not make an exception to the business unless there's some sort of legal aspect or legal reason why you have to incorporate churches in any zone of East Greenbush. Not that I'm anti-religion. I think it's a fundamental constitutional right to practice religion. So my concern is the fact that we're making all these exceptions to the zoning law, and it appears that it's only to the benefit of not necessarily the church per se, but of particular people that have lots of influence in the town of East Greenbush, lots of presence. And a lot of them are basically covered up by LLCs. So the public in general may not know and trace back to who those LLCs are, but there's one in particular that has a dominance in East Greenbush. That's all I have to say for tonight.
Okay. Tina, can I say something?
Of course you can.
David, I agree with virtually everything you said. The only problem with the rezone is that there's statute that really prohibits you from prohibiting churches. And we've had a very, very smart attorney from Whiteman, Osterman, Hanna, and her advice to us is this isn't a planning issue, this isn't a zoning issue, this is a legal issue. And that you cannot find a single case where a municipality blocked the church and won. And so I think the thing we have to do with this particular church is they still have to go through the site plan review. And I think that's where we have to be as tough as we can possibly be. I think you'll definitely agree with me that we need to monitor and enforce any conditions that are imposed. But it's hard to stop it at the zoning level.
I guess my comment was not that I'm against having a church there. That's not my.
Oh no, I get that.
My comment is that it's the exception made. Let's put it this way. It is a group of small individuals in this town that are making putting a lot of pressure to basically make the zoning more to benefit them than anybody else. It's not really a benefit of the church per se. So you can see this going on in a lot of different business transactions in East Greenbush. Yeah. And I don't think the normal, regular, run-of-the-mill town residents understand what's actually going on. And from attending a lot of these meetings, there's a definite apathy in the town of East Greenbush. I think that apathy is basically opening up a loophole for people to say, I'm going to change things to benefit a few. And I'm not saying the town government's doing that. It's the people who are in a position legally and have legal means to basically fashion their business model to fit their immediate benefit.
Yeah, and David, that's the prime reason we're redoing the zoning map. Because the existing zoning map, I'm not going to do it in public, but I could show you 8 or 10 places on that map that make no sense at all except for a particular family to benefit from that zone being what it is. That's not going to happen this time. That is not going to happen. Those days are over because you're right. A zoning map is critical, but it has to be fair. It has to be right.
If I could just add a couple of comments too, clearly we're talking about a couple of different things here. We're talking about rezoning the B2, which is a general business district, and making a change to general business district, not residential. And the allowed uses are clearly outlined in the zoning law that can be reviewed. And a lot of the permitted uses are animal boarding, civic, public facility, bank or government, restaurant, bar, retail. It's not a residential zone that we are rezoning to allow a church. It seems to be, based on Adam's review and expertise and consultation with attorneys, an omission of allowing churches. So if this is not a PDD that we're trying to do a spot zoning. This is the entire B2 zoning as it exists now, adding this additional use of a church, which might have been an omission. So that's the first point that I do want to make. The second point is that the church put this forward. They happen to be represented by a person who represents other businesses, including family businesses. But it is a church that put forward a request, and it opened the door to noticing that this might have been an omission in the zoning. So, we have to separate the applicant from the law. And the other thing is that, as we move forward with the redoing the zoning map, as Supervisor Conway said, these are important discussions that we have to have. I hope that added clarity and not confusion.
It would be very interesting to do research, or have that research available to everyone, for lack of better words, to go back in history of the town of East Greenbush zoning laws and how things have changed and been modified over the years, to see where we have come from as a town, how things were not done right there and then done right here, so forth and so on, to correct problems. And I think that might give people a perspective of where the zoning laws are today and why the zoning map is the way it is.
I think there's one very easy way to look at that data is to look at the map and look at the spot zoning that's been done. That's one very easy way to see that particular zones were changed for a particular project. Very easy, rudimentary data analysis that can be done. But this, again, is for the entire B2 district. This is not for one particular project.
Right. But on a personal level, the reason why I'm kind of interested in all this stuff is back in 2000, I think it was 2008, when the zoning laws were changed, the zoning boundaries were changed, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
My property magically changed from a B2 to a R2. I had no say in the matter. I had no input to the matter. It was just magically changed. When I inquired about that in the town of East Greenbush, I was very surprised that they weren't knowledgeable of that fact. When I got response from the town, in the town, Adam Ugelski's office, that my property was never zoned B2, it was always R2. Well, I had forwarded a letter back in response to that, response from the town, showing that I had a letter from the town of East Greenbush. I forgot what the date was, in the late 80s, early 90s, that my property was, in fact, B2. And the actual maps that were sent to me by the planning board showing me that they thought it was always B2, the one that was the older one of the two was actually B2. So there's a lot of confusion out there that, as far as zoning laws are concerned, as far as I'm concerned. So I'd like to see things looked at, especially when the new comprehensive zoning law comes into play in the future. How things are regulated to hopefully have the town of East Greenbush residents protected against certain changes in the zoning laws. That's where I'm coming from.
Well, thank you for your comment. So we would like to ask if there's any other members of the public that would like to comment. Anyone else? Going once? Going twice? I'm disappointed our students aren't commenting, but that's okay. And then just a quick note too, I noticed that our chairperson for the Comprehensive Steering Committee has joined us tonight, and we want to thank that committee for their work. They did a great job, so thank you very much for that.
Good point. Good point. Thank you, John.
So if there are no other public comments to be made, I'm just going to stall a little bit here just to make sure anybody didn't have any trouble unmuting themselves. Okay, then we will move into the resolutions.
Councillor Tierney, I'll just backtrack to Councillor Fritz. I will take your comments as in taking your attendance. Can you hear that, Councillor Fritz? Yeah.
Yes, I'm present.
You didn't hear me before. Okay, we got you. Thank you.
For some reason I dropped off for a minute and I popped back on. I don't know what happened there.
Glad you're back. Okay, so thanks, Alan. Thanks, Town Clerk Pangburn. So we'll move into the resolutions now.
So Resolution 244-2020 is a resolution to approve the meeting minutes of the regular town board meeting that was held on November 18th, 2020. I'd like to move the adoption of this resolution. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you.
Is there any further discussion on this resolution? Councillor Matters?
Yes.
Councillor Fritz?
Yes.
Councillor Tierney?
Yes.
Councillor Kennedy?
Yes.
Supervisor Conway?
Yes.
Resolution 245 of 2020, a resolution to schedule the 2021 organizational meeting. I move this resolution. May I have a second?
I will second that.
Is there any further discussion on this resolution?
The meeting is scheduled for Monday, January 4th, 2021 at 6 p.m. We will hold it most likely by Zoom. But
Councillor Fritz?
Yes.
Councillor Matters?
Yes.
Councillor Tierney?
yes.
Councillor Kennedy?
Yes.
Supervisor Conway?
Yes.
Resolution 246 of 2020. This is a resolution authorizing the supervisor to sign a 2021 animal shelter agreement with the Mohawk and Hudson River Humane Society. I move this resolution. May I have a second?
I will second this resolution.
Thank
Is there
you.
any further discussion on this resolution?
Yeah, at some point we need to add a clause to this that if a dog bites an East Greenbush police officer, we're not paying for it under any circumstances, because that has driven me crazy. $700 for a dog that was sicked on a police officer, and we have to pay for it. Not fair.
So this is a great corollary to our contract with Bob Geyer, certainly.
Yeah.
You know, really a nice pairing of contracts. So,
Yeah.
Councillor Fritz?
Yes.
Councillor Kennedy?
Yes.
Councillor Tierney?
Yes.
Councillor Matters?
yes.
Supervisor Conway?
Yes.
Sorry, we put you last, Supervisor Conway.
No, I like that. Tina, it's almost like having the last word. I should do that all the time.
Okay, Resolution 247 of 2020 is a resolution authorizing an agreement with Rensselaer County concerning 2020 and 2021 snow and ice removal. I move this resolution. May I please have a second?
I will second this resolution.
Is there any further discussion on this resolution?
Timely.
Very timely.
Councillor Tierney?
Yes.
Councillor Kennedy?
Yes.
Councillor Matters?
Yes.
Councillor Fritz? Councillor Fritz?
Yes.
Supervisor Conway?
Yes.
Yes. Bridget's right. Bridget's right. I vote yes.
Little delayed.
The next one.
All right, Resolution 248 of 2020 is a resolution authorizing the solicitation of bids for a pickup truck for the Water Department. I move this resolution. May I please have a second?
I will second that.
Is there any further discussion on this resolution? Councillor Tierney?
Yes.
Councillor Matters?
Yes.
Councillor Fritz? Councillor Fritz?
Yes.
Councillor Kennedy?
Yeah.
Supervisor Conway?
Yes.
Yes.
Bridget, I think you have a bit of a delay on your, when you hear and when you speak. Resolution 249 of 2020 is a resolution authorizing grinding of wood and brush. I move this resolution. May I please have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you.
Is there any further discussion on this resolution? Counselor Tierney,
Yes.
Counselor Fritz,
Yes.
Counselor Matters,
Yes.
Counselor Kennedy,
Yes.
Supervisor Conway.
Yes.
Resolution 250 of 2020 is a resolution to appoint Gary S. Flowers to the position of laborer in the Department of Public Works. I move this resolution. May I please have a second?
I will second this resolution.
Thank you.
Is there any further discussion on this resolution?
Gary comes to us with a really interesting amount of experience. Personally, I'm not objective, but this is another example of people from surrounding municipalities who have a ton of skill and have gotten tired of politics. And the word is out, I believe, that East Greenbush is a place where you can come, just do your job, and everyone will leave you alone. So this is another huge get for the town of East Greenbush. There's a lot of experience and skill that comes with this guy.
Yeah, I'd like to thank the commissioner and the deputy commissioner for forwarding us, the information on Gary. It was, very appropriate and very helpful, in reviewing this. So, thank you again.
Counselor Tierney,
Yes.
Counselor Kennedy,
Yes.
Counselor Matters,
Yes.
Counselor Fritz,
Yes.
Supervisor Conway.
Yes.
Resolution 251 of 2020 is a resolution to accept the comprehensive plan update recommended by the Comprehensive Plan Steering Committee, initiate the required environmental review under SECRA referral required under Town Law Section 272A, and schedule a public hearing to receive public comment on the proposed comprehensive plan. I move this resolution. May I please have a second?
I will second this. So it's my pleasure to second this. Thank you.
Is there any further discussion on this resolution?
Yeah, first off, John and the committee, thank you so much. You guys did a lot of work, and it's a really good plan.
Mm-hmm.
And also thanks to Jackie Hakes and Andrew Gilchrist from MJ Engineering. Now, we have this public hearing scheduled for January 13th, but I don't want anyone to think that we're going to railroad this thing through. This is going to get a very careful review at the town board level. And if that public hearing doesn't yield some kind of finality, if there's still issues on the table and still things people want to talk about, we're going to continue that public hearing until we get everyone on board, at least with their opinions. We're not playing games here. We haven't played politics. And this is a place where towns play politics. And we left the steering committee alone because they're really good people who knew what they were doing. There'll be no politics, but we're going to vindicate the quality of the effort that the steering committee did by putting in as much work and making sure this plan gets done right.
Counselor Tierney?
Well, I was just going to supplement that if I could briefly. As the supervisor indicated, I mean, MJ Engineering did a very, very competent job in bringing its end of this undertaking, to the steering committee. I think it's great that the steering committee, really underscored the public process component of this undertaking. And, this document serves as the backdrop for, what will eventually be a zoning review and consideration of zoning changes to a comprehensive zoning. And, the fact that, really just echoing the supervisor about Adam Bugelski previously, I mean, he just so instrumental, I think, in really, bringing those efforts together between the steering committee and MJ Engineering. And thank you to Deputy Supervisor Tina Tierney for, her, liaison role and further shepherding this all together. So it's very, very, gratifying, to see something that's so important to the town, receive the professional treatment that it obviously deserves. And we can all look forward to the end products of all of this. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Councillor Tierney?
Yes.
Councillor Matters?
Yes.
Councillor Fritz?
Yes.
Councillor Kennedy?
Yes.
Supervisor Conway?
Yes.
Resolution 252 of 2020 is a resolution accepting the resignation of Dahlia Sarowitz. I move this resolution. May I please have a second?
I'll second that.
Is there any further discussion on this resolution?
We wish Dahlia well.
Best of luck to her.
Very sorry to see her go. When she first came on board, I saw this instant enhancement to the planning and zoning department, and a real compliment to Adam. And now that she's leaving, it feels sad, but at the same time, we know that where she's going will certainly benefit from her talents, and I'm sure she's left a nice mark on our department. So,
Councillor Tierney?
Yes.
Councillor Fritz?
Yes.
Councillor Matters?
yes.
Councillor Kennedy?
Yes.
Supervisor Conway?
Yes.
Resolution 253 of 2020, authorizing the purchase of essential equipment to outfit the police canine patrol vehicle. I'd like to move the adoption of this resolution. May I please have a second?
I will second that.
Is there any further discussion on this resolution? Councillor Kennedy?
Yes.
Councillor Tierney?
Yes.
Councillor Fritz?
Yes.
Councillor Matters?
Yes.
Supervisor Conway?
Yes.
Resolution 254-2020 is a resolution authorizing the purchase of essential equipment to outfit the police canine patrol vehicle. I'd like to move the adoption of this resolution. Do I have a second?
Actually, Councillor Matters, we are going to make a verbal amendment.
I'll second that.
Before we do that, we're going to make a verbal amendment to the text on the financial transfer out, transfer in.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks to Councillor Kennedy. She saw that the quote submitted is $9,605. So we need to amend the transfer out and the transfer in to $9,605 on this resolution. So I'd like to move that amendment. May I have a second?
I will second that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
On the amendment, Councillor Matters?
Yes.
Councillor Fritz?
Yes.
Councillor Kennedy?
Yes.
Councillor Tierney?
Yes.
Supervisor Conway?
Yes.
Is there any further discussion on this resolution?
Yeah, I just want to say to the chief and the assistant chief and to Megan, next time I can breathe, we need to do a review of the financing for the canine program. I just want to get everything in order, do an accounting of where we are, what we still need to get, just to kind of level set the program, because we're moving fast, and that's a good thing and it's important. But I really want to just double check the finances every step of the way.
Sure.
Counselor Matters? Oh, yep, go ahead.
I was just going to say that was the, we just moved the amendment, right? So now we're going to move the amended resolution?
Correct. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, so I so move this resolution as amended.
And I'll second that.
Okay. Counselor Matters?
Yes.
Counselor Fritz?
Yes.
Counselor Kennedy?
Yes.
Counselor Tierney?
Yes.
Supervisor Conway?
Yes.
Resolution 255 of 2020. A resolution to approve the annual appointment of part-time police department interns. I move this resolution. May I have a second, please?
I will second this resolution.
Is there any further discussion on this resolution?
These are three really, really good young people. But Chief, can you give us an update on how Ronnie Yates is doing?
Yes, I just spoke with them earlier today. They actually had readmitted him into the hospital for some fluid, and they did a procedure this morning where they drained fluid from around his lungs. But he's feeling very well. They do have him on a cardiac monitor just to keep an eye on him, but he's doing well.
Okay, give him our best.
I certainly will.
That's a good man.
Certainly, as we miss him downstairs.
So,
Counselor Fritz?
Yes.
Counselor Kennedy?
Yes.
Counselor Matters?
yes.
Counselor Tierney?
Yes.
Supervisor Conway?
Yes.
Resolution 256 of 2020 is a resolution to approve the annual appointment of part-time police dispatchers. I move this resolution. May I please have a second?
I will second that.
Is there any further discussion on this resolution?
I just always feel better when I see Timmy Bowles' name on this list.
Yes. I agree.
Counselor Tierney?
Yes.
Counselor Matters?
Yes.
Counselor Fritz?
Yes.
Counselor Kennedy?
Yes.
Supervisor Conway?
Yes.
Resolution 257 of 2020 is a resolution to schedule the continuance of the public hearing for proposed local law amending section 2.7.3b of the comprehensive zoning law to provide that a religious facility will be a permitted use within the commercial business district B2. I move this resolution. May I please have a second?
I will.
Oh, I'm sorry. I second that.
Thought it was me.
Is there any further discussion on this resolution?
So we started the public hearing last week, a week ago tonight. We will continue it on Wednesday, January 20th at 6:30, most likely by Zoom as well.
Good.
Counselor Tierney?
Yes.
Counselor Matters?
Yes.
Counselor Fritz?
Yes.
Counselor Kennedy?
Yes.
Supervisor Conway?
Yes.
So that concludes our resolutions for this evening. We are going to move into executive session to conduct interviews for our Conservation Advisory Council. But before we do that, I wanted to give our team of colleagues an opportunity if they had any final comments.
Just while we were in this meeting, I got the updated report from the county. 119 new cases in Rensselaer County, 15 in town today. This virus is raging.
I just also would like to thank Megan Hart for your diligence and hard work in putting this agenda and getting it out to all of us. Really appreciate it. Good job. Thank you.
Yes, ditto, Megan.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Megan.
Absolutely.
We agree. She's our lifeline downstairs right now. We appreciate you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's because she lets you spend money.
That has nothing to do with that, Supervisor.
Hey, I've been pushing back.
I we have our Excel sheet. Don't you worry.
No, I don't. When the two of you get together, I get very nervous.
You just get better. That's all you worry about right now.
Well, thanks, Chief.
To our chief, any comments that you'd like to make at all? In addition to hoping that Supervisor Conway recovers quickly, which I do too.
Was that directed at me? I'm sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
No, just wishing everybody well upstairs as well. And I just want to let you know that my assistant chief is working out very well so far, and I've decided to keep him.
I don't know. I think he's a bit of a troublemaker.
That is true, but you have to have a little bit of that in you. So he's doing great, and he's taken on numerous projects already with a smile. So he has these smiles right here. That may not be his inside thought, but I appreciate it. And, I think it was an excellent choice.
Yeah, it certainly was.
Great.
And welcome to our assistant chief to the meeting tonight. If you'd like to make any comments, you can certainly do so.
If I could figure out how, yes. Thank you very much. And so far, I'm enjoying working with Chief. I am doing it with a smile, and for many reasons. And I think we're going to make a great team. I'm looking forward to seeing where this goes in the future. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thanks, Jen.
Thanks for joining us. With that, I will make a motion to move into executive session to conduct interviews with potential Conservation Advisory Council members. May I please have a second?
I will second that.
Thank you.
Counselor Tierney?
Yes.
Counselor Kennedy?
Yes.
Counselor Matters?
Yeah.
Yes.
Supervisor Conway?
Yes.
Okay, so we will ask the public to exit from the meeting.
I'm going to stop streaming and stop recording right now.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
And thank